Before you dislike this video before even watching it, please be aware that I did make a video talking about how the Xbox Scorpio could beat the PlayStation 4 Pro. So if you're a fanboy and you're going to get angry at this video, please watch that one first and then come back and watch this one. So this console generation is weird, man. This is the first console generation that we actually have defined as a generation that we're seeing hardware upgrades, significant hardware upgrades, in the middle of the generation, but it's still the same platform. The last time we saw this was with the Atari 5200. Now, the concept of game generations didn't exist back then, so that doesn't really count as the first time, even though that technically was the first time that a hardware upgrade was done in the middle of a quote-unquote generation. So what we're getting this generation are two upgrade consoles, the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One Scorpio. Both of these consoles exist for very similar reasons. The first reason that they both share is the fact that Microsoft and Sony do not want gamers to migrate away from their console over to PC. That happens every single generation. We get the consoles falling way behind PC, and then gamers will switch to PC when, that hardware has gone cheaper, the hardware's gotten cheaper, and people want better visuals. So this is the first time we've seen Microsoft and Sony trying to undercut this and release those consoles to begin with. The second reason is that 4K TVs are becoming a bigger thing now, and they both want to have something that exists for the market of people who want 4K TVs, especially Sony, who sell 4K TVs and want something to match up with it pretty well. So both of the console manufacturers have to do very certain things in order to beat the competition, and in this video we're going to focus on Sony and how the PlayStation 4 Pro could beat the Xbox Scorpio. Now, it's a common misconception that because the Xbox Scorpio is going to be more powerful, there's no doubt about that, we're talking 4.2 teraflops compute performance versus 6, plus more memory bandwidth and more RAM in general inside the Xbox Scorpio, that the Scorpio is easily going to take the win and that the PlayStation 4 Pro is going to be made irrelevant. That is actually not necessarily the case, because not once has hardware power ever been a reason as to why a console won. Sony has pretty much three things that they can do to help them win against the Xbox Scorpio. The first thing that they can do is that they need to market this thing properly. Microsoft is going to be releasing the Xbox Scorpio and marketing it as the first 4K games console, the most powerful games console, etc. They're doing that already, even though it's technically not true, because PlayStation 4 Pro has some 4K games, but you can tell that Microsoft wants to go balls to the wall with 4K on this thing. So Microsoft's already marketing it as such. So what Sony needs to do in their marketing is they need to market the PlayStation 4 Pro as a high-resolution 4K entertainment console, like they already are, and they need to make sure that they point out the fact that the price is nice and low, so that when the average consumer or mom comes into Best Buy or whatever and sees the Xbox Scorpio and the PlayStation 4 Pro on the shelf, oh, well, the PlayStation 4 Pro here is also a 4K entertainment console, but it's cheaper than the Xbox, so I'm going to have to get this one. First off, we know Sony's going to cut the price. It's going to be about $350 by the time the Xbox Scorpio comes out, unless the Xbox Scorpio is much more expensive than the PlayStation 4 Pro. But if the Xbox Scorpio is at a competitive price, they need to keep the price low, and they need to make sure people, the average consumer, looks at the system, thinks 4K entertainment console just like the Scorpio, and buys it because it's cheaper. So that's the first thing they can do. Now, the second thing they can do, and I kind of already went over this, and it really does tie in with the first, is that they need to make sure the thing stays at a competitive, compelling price. If the Xbox Scorpio comes out at $500 and the PS4 Pro is $400, yes, $100 is a big difference, but if Sony just dropped that price to about $350 or so, they could make it so that the PS4 Pro is pretty much the only option for some people in their mind. Why the hell would I pay this much more for a 4K entertainment console compared to this one? So they need to keep the price compelling and competitive. It already pretty much is. It's at a good price right now. But Sony can afford to drop that price about a year from now, especially as hardware is getting cheaper as time goes on. And finally, the last thing that Sony needs to do is that they need to make sure that they keep churning out quality exclusive games. That's one thing that the PlayStation brand has always had strong over Xbox, is a large variety of quality exclusive games. If you don't like driving and shooting, you're pretty much not going to like the Xbox exclusive lineup. And I don't even know if I can really call it an exclusive lineup, because all those games are also on PC. A lot of people right now who want to play those Microsoft games and other games in 4K are just moving over to PC. You got some people that are waiting for the Scorpio, but the people that already want to game in 4K with those games are on PC, because there's no reason to wait, especially since Phil Spencer just came out and said the Xbox Scorpio is not going to compete with high-end gaming PCs, as we expected. Sony, on the other hand, has platformers, they have adventure games, they have their own varieties of driving and shooting games, they have puzzle games. Sony has all sorts of awesome games that are exclusive. Look at the event that they just had where they announced a bunch of games, including The Last of Us Part 2. Now, The Last of Us and Uncharted, two huge Naughty Dog series, are huge system sellers and great exclusive games and a shining example of the kind of things that Microsoft needs to have to catch up. Also, stuff such as Ratchet & Clank, the Infamous series is amazing, plus there's those newer games coming out, like Horizon Zero Dawn, there's that Spider-Man game coming out, Until Dawn, like a lot of games, and Sony needs to make sure that they keep churning these games out, because those right there are major differentiating factors between PlayStation and Xbox. A lot of people buy PlayStation for its games, myself included. If I wasn't a gadget collector, my console of choice would be the PlayStation 4, because even though I'm primarily on my PC, I'm not going to play Ratchet & Clank on my PC. I'm not going to play Uncharted on my PC. I can't play Last of Us on my PC. All those great games that make me want to buy a PlayStation 4, and that can carry into the main market too. Think about it. A little kid or a younger kid plays Uncharted at his friend's house and now wants a PlayStation in order to play that game. Great. I mean, sure, we'll have kids that want to play Forza or something from their friend's house, but considering the amount of variety of games Sony has, that could be a major factor. Now, the PlayStation 4 Pro already has some cards stacked in its favor. For one, the price is good, and two, this thing was released at least a year before the Xbox Scorpio is released. Now, we might get a surprise announcement that the thing's coming out in summer, which I doubt. We could get an announcement that thing's not coming out until 2018. We don't know. I mean, the thing is on track, and we've been hearing that the thing's doing well so far, so we're probably going to get a holiday 2017 release. But either way, the PlayStation 4 Pro has a large lead on the Xbox Scorpio, and Sony can use this time to build up as much of an install base as they possibly can before the Scorpio comes out. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are some reasons that you think the PlayStation 4 Pro could beat the Xbox Scorpio? And also, if you, like I said in the beginning of the video, be sure to check out the other opposing video to this one talking about how the Xbox Scorpio could beat the PlayStation 4 Pro, and be sure to comment on that one too. You all have a great rest of your day.